Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big drama continuing in the VCT last night. Once again, it's Boostio and 100 Thieves related after all the discussion that was had over the last few days between Boostio and Gen.G and Zeltis getting involved in this content drama. Their performance in the server seems to have regressed to a significant extent. What is going on with this 100T team? Are they potentially at serious risk of not making it to the playoffs and therefore to the World Championship themselves? And if that was to be the case, what actually happens then? Has this Boostio Gen.G 100T content related drama completely affected their dynamic behind the scenes? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. We'll get into this series a bit more in a second. Quickly wanted to mention a few things from around the world of VALORANT. Of course, Kanking as well, talking about how important it is to win for him. The reality is, of course, for Edward Gaming that they were very good for some time. They were comfortably the best team in their region for some time. But look, the reality is it's not going to be quite the same. And even Kanking individually hasn't been playing quite as well. Interesting comments, though, he makes on the fact that when he's now 20, which is like hella young. But what he says is, does he have the same reactions as he had when he was 18 or 19? And personally, I think there's like basically no evidence to suggest this would be the case. Like I don't see any other athletes, certainly in the esports world, even regular sports, where this should be affecting considerably. But maybe he just feels like he's a weaker player than he was a couple of years ago. And, you know, it's making the point that I've got to find something else in my gameplay. The reality is I think that he probably is still playing pretty well. It's just his team have rather let him down, I would say, lately. And they were therefore considering, and they are making changes to try and do better at this year's World Championship, which they will go to. They have already qualified. That is a done deal, absolutely locked in. Elsewhere though in the Pacific, this is kind of crazy. So Xcurit was in-game leading T1 against Global Esports, communicating in Korean. Now it seems like T1 have decided that they are going to go down the Korean speaking route again, and the fact that Xcurit was doing this after basically as his fourth language is absolutely insane. But yeah, and they won the series as well, as Xcurit says. First debut communicate with Korean language, sorry for bad performance. Happy that they got the victory, right, because at the end of the day, these T1 boys, they're in a nice position in terms of like looking good occasionally, but they're just not going to make it very deep in the tournament, unfortunately. They're not going to go much further. And yeah, it's easier. I had a great one, Sire player. Of course, there was no Rossi here because they've decided to make a move there because I believe, you know, they want to communicate in Korean, right? So Xcurit did a stellar job making that occur. It was 13-10 to be fair, game one of the Icebox to Global Esports, but then after that, it was a big result from T1, 13-8. 13-8 to close out the series. So in the end, it still leaves T1, while looking good occasionally, at 3-6, which is probably not going to be in position to make it, right? You know, they've got a couple more series still to play, right? So yeah, they play Bleed. That's their final one. The best they can get to is 4-6, and unfortunately for them, every other team has 5 or more wins, and therefore there's no way they can actually qualify, neither now for Global Esports. So yeah, T1, it seems their season is basically over. They're just going to be looking, it seems, to, you know, translate once again to a Korean-speaking team, which is probably why Rossi is going to be out of there, right? He made it clear yesterday, will not be playing or attending the final game. This is my last time. Sorry to anyone who's upset, but there were rumours lately that Rossi was going to possibly return to the Americas and play Tier 2, Tier 1, or whatever the case may potentially be. Couple of series to mention, of course, in the Pacific as well. We'll just do this one quickly because this was Gen.G. To be honest, Gen.G kind of needing a victory here, given the way that things are going in terms of the playoffs. And yeah, Gen.G 2-1 over Bleed, but Bleed played better, it's got to be said. They lost the game 13-6. They then won the Sunset 13-10 on Gen.G's pick, which was very commendable because all those offensive rounds in a row. So there is an argument to say, Zest of course coming in, is this new Bleed better than the Bleed with Ye? I mean, on this evidence, probably yeah. Like, they nearly had a comeback against Gen.G on the Icebox. They faked the comeback, unfortunately, though. They were down a big way. They were literally down, like, what, 12-4. They brought back 7 rounds in a row to make it 12-11, and then they lost the final round, which, of course, is absolutely brutal to lose in that manner. But, you know, it happens. And as Dayon says, these guys are Thanos. 0-2 against Gen.G, last game against T1 next week, and then he says, hang on a second, it weren't 0-2, it was 2-1. Like, I forgot we won a map, which is pretty funny. So anyway, they close out the series. The other, Gen.G do, which puts them in a nice spot here. The other one that I just wanted to mention, of course, was Paper Rex getting that victory just now against DFM. That was a relatively clean 2-0. You know, there were some dominating rounds in here. 13-4 on the Icebox Detonations pick, and then 13-8 for Paper Rex. So comfortable enough. Detonation Gaming, sure, they've made some progress maybe, but it's still not good enough when they play the top teams. Paper Rex at 7-1, and yeah, of course, the results that we just saw certainly from Gen.G putting them to 5-3, that locks up their spot to the playoffs and therefore their World Championship qualification is also going to be looking relatively good as a result. Speaking of EMEA, there was talk from Gen.G. This kind of confused me really, maybe not confused, but Redgar's not been playing the best VALORANT lately, you know, as in-game leader for the team. But the other day, they just beat Na'Vi and are in position to potentially still make it to the playoffs. But instead, they're dropping Redgar. So, yeah, they've decided that Famzy is going to be coming in and Redgar's going to move to the bench as their in-game leader. So, yeah, Fatinho, Cloud, Hoodie, Purpo and Famzy, that's going to be the team of 5. So, you know, we'll see how this goes for them. Redgar, of course, not been playing the best, but he was their in-game leader, right? So we'll see how that goes. And 3 and 5, not ideal, but, you know, if they get to 5 wins, they could well make it, right? 5 in 5 may well be enough, given that Na'Vi are slipping away. You know, there's questions about some of these other teams. Really competitive right now in EMEA. So, yeah, their final games are against Heretics, which is tough, and against FUT Esports, which is tough. So I guess their feeling was, with Redgar, they're not going to win both of those series, and therefore they're going to be dusted. But, you know, could they potentially win them with their change? I don't know. Just interesting, isn't it? Like, they literally beat Na'Vi just the other day at 2-0. And yes, they lost to KOI, but they also beat Gentlemates before that. And, you know, here we are again, they're making a roster change in this crucial moment. But let's talk about the Americas, because a couple of big series going down here yesterday. Zelsis giving credit to Pancada, as he says, guess Pancada really was the solution, because finally Loud get another victory on the board. They needed this one, absolutely, and they do get it. MIBR, just in region, will always tend to lose to Louds generally. I think the concern for Loud that I had really on this result is just Sadak on the Neon, right? Because to me, Sadak on the Neon, it ain't really working so well. Game 1 was 13-7 on MIBR's pick, but the thing is with the Lotus is that Sadak plays the Neon and goes 9 in 22. So, you know, look, that is not really the numbers that you're going to need as a Neon, certainly as the entry on this map. And look, they tried it with Sadak, and maybe they're going to keep trying it. But when Sadak said the other day that he was going to run the Neon, most people were like, hang on a second, are we serious? But he was like, no, I am serious. And it wasn't great, was it? They lost the game too, and he ran it again on the Sunset, and again he went double negative. Not exactly great first blood return, but they do win the map. So I think that is the thing for Loud. Yes, they win against MIBR, and fair play to MIBR, at least making it interesting and competitive, and Pancada getting a series victory on the board with the team now. But yeah, Sadak on the Neon might have to go, and they might have to consider toys or whatever they're going to do there in terms of putting him on the Neon maybe instead. That could be the way to go. But we've got to talk about 100T, right? Because there was all the drama a few days ago when Boostio came out on stream and basically said the organization doesn't care about winning. They're making us do too much content. We're not able to focus on the gameplay and all this type of stuff. And well, what do you know? A few days later, internally, their team does not seem to be in the same position that it was in before. So I wanted to share a couple of clips here based on this result. And look, okay, the shots weren't the best, but Lev handled business.
What are you saying right now?
Add his input.
Guys, Nadeshot's going to fire Boostio.
Back a reality. It was 4 in a row.
We need to win
for
this
100
game.
Thieves just up until round 20 that we just watched.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, that's what he's saying.
I need to get my target stocks up
for a little bit, but like you said, there's not much room to work with if you're on 100 Thieves in terms of the rounds left. I mean, 2 more will do it.
Hey,
Kato to
Rin.
lead the series up on 100 Thieves map pick, which is fine. You know, we're all expecting this one to be favored towards this team. They've looked
It's better for
really,
Sentinels
really
if
good
Lev
all year
wins,
long.
yes.
Don't need to say it much more.
Yeah, it's been their home territory for sure, but I think because they were so good at it, it painted such an
Do I want
obvious
Boostio to be
target.
fired?
Yeah,
No,
it's a big
I don't think he
target.
should be
If
fired
you're
either.
going to Andy
In
Stratton
all
and Thieves
seriousness,
on
I don't
any
think he
map,
should be fired.
It's going to be bind, right? 'Cause
I feel like
if you
they
ban
handled that, like,
anything
that was just a
else, you
misblown-
know that's going to be the first map in the series.
That was just blown
So it
out of
makes your
proportion,
anti-Stratton
that
very
situation.
simplified.
I think it's fine.
And I think that's the double-edged sword when you've got a map that's just so good for you. Everybody else is going to be trying to take.
It's better for 100 Thieves to win and EG to win against Lev. No,
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
maybe, but 100 Thieves has 9 points and we have 11. So the more 100 Thieves loses is really good for us.
Definitely
What happened last match against Furia?
Yeah, I think against Furia,
What was that?
we just weren't really playing
Oh.
ourselves. You know, we were kind of being a little too
What
aggressive.
is this, like,
not really
mentality?
caring
What is this
what
choice
was
from
going
him?
on, Didn't really play together as a team.
From who?
Was that
Oh, I wasn't
aggression?
watching. Oh, let me hear
Boostio.
it.
What do you have
Oh.
specifically for Libya?
Dude, I'm
Yeah,
hate
everyone's
watching
coming
that. You
out.
better be here, bro.
We reviewed their game, and I think an aggression is a
Oh, he
big part
seems
of our
focused. He
game,
seems
and
serious
we just
today. I don't
I
like
know,
it, bro.
I know. I mean,
correctly like
He
we were
seems
doing
serious.
the
It's
vibes
not
are
good.
off.
We
The
were
The
vibes
vibes
are
are
off.
off. I can sense it from the outside.
Will be good for this
He
match.
seems more serious than
Kind of a left
usual.
turn of- You are a very active person on social media, specifically X or Twitter.
I ruined
Do you
him.
think your Twitter
My video
activity
came out and I
affects your
ruined
teammates
him.
at all?
You might have, bro.
But I hope not. They know I'm trolling, so.
Oh, now we're trolling. Why is he like this? I miss him now, man. Like, why are we doing what we do? Like, this is why you need to wear it, bro.
I think he got a lot though. I think he got a lot of backlash after losing to. It was to Furia. Yeah, Furia.
Oh, they lost one series, bro. Who the cares?
But
He's
that
him.
one was bad
Boostio's
because
him.
he tweeted that picture. I'm pretty sure the Brazilians went crazy on him.
I've been there, done that twice.
Yeah. Honestly, WPR farm though.
So a 2-0 for Lev. Once again, it's the Aspas show. As it is always seems to be the case, right? This guy on the Rays on the Neon, what a performance from him again. 13-10 on the bind, 13-4 in the end on the Haven. So, like, 100T got crushed. This is the team that won the Americas playoffs in stage 1 not long ago. They went to Shanghai, great result, got top 4 in the end, like made a really deep run of the tournament. And they've come in here 100T and have just not performed well. Like this was, you know, I wouldn't even exactly go as far to say embarrassing, but it wasn't far away for a team. I mean, to be fair, map 2 kind of was, to be fair. So, all the drama, Boostio had 7 kills. Is there anything in that, right? Is there anything to the idea? And of course, here the replies again to Boostio's tweet. Sorry to the fans. I don't know what's going on. MIBR next, he says. And obviously, he's getting clowned. You know, must be all the content 100T is throwing at you all good. So, you know, this is the thing. He says what he said about 100T and to Nate about not caring about winning and all this stuff. And you know, the question was, you know, should they have fired him? Should they get rid of him? Like, you know, these comments need to be dealt with or whatever. And just, I guess there is some debate on whether the relationship between Boostio and the team and the coaching staff and the other players may have been somewhat affected by this. You know, I wouldn't really think that it would have affected much, but it feels like something must have changed because to go from where they were to where they are now feels kind of strange, right? Now, to be fair, it's not like they ran some of the more meta stuff. You know, we've got Aspas here on the Neon and it's not an agent that was used by 100T. So maybe there is something to be said from adapting to the meta properly and trying to take advantage of it. But nonetheless, I think there are some serious concerns now for 100T going forward. And if they don't make it to the playoffs, I mean, let's just have a look at the standings there for the playoffs on the Americas side, because they're currently sitting at 3-4. So they can still make it, but that loss was a big deal because Loud are coming through, NRG are going to try and come through, 100T are coming through. Now, thankfully for 100T, they still do have that MIBR series to come. They play MIBR, they play EG, they play Loud. So it's not over yet. And that was a series you can lose to Lev and get away with it. But it was the manner of the defeat which will be primarily of concern. But very much interested your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.